Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 212 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. So, for all of you that have been listening regularly, you know that I had some anxiety over the whole testing negative for COVID to be able to go to Belize and then testing negative to be able to come back home. And I know everybody's like, well, we really feel sorry for you. But anyway, well, I'm back home. We had a wonderful trip and none of the fears I imagined happened. Go figure. So for those of you worrying about something that could happen in the future, I just wanted to say, this is a little bit of proof that we cause our own pain and anxiety by thinking the worst. I had created this anxiety for myself and none of it happened. So now I have solid proof in the future when I'm creating anxiety again, which I will, I'm sure. I think most of us do that. But a lot of times we think the worst and the worst usually does not happen. Now, life happens and circumstances out of our control happen. And sometimes bad things do happen to us. That's the human experience. And this is when it's so good to be able to have the ability to recognize how our thoughts are making things better or making them worse. So I recently read a book from a friend that said sometimes the best you can do is put one foot in front of the other. And that's okay. Get through that day. Tomorrow is going to be better. As a society, I think we should always be happy. We should always feel good. That something's wrong with us if we feel bad. So maybe we fake it. Or sometimes we reach for something that's not available. So if you're feeling sad, trying to jump immediately to pure happiness, that's really hard. It feels inauthentic to you innately when you do that. You know the difference. I know the difference. So there's nothing wrong with being sad periodically. That's part of life. It's a part we wouldn't want to do away with. You might say, well, of course, I don't want to ever be sad. But let me give you an example. We have a dear friend who recently lost his brother unexpectedly. Now, is he supposed to not be sad about that? Of course he's going to be sad. Now, how long one stays sad varies. But if you're sad and you would like to not be sad anymore, it's helpful to not try to go from sad to all of a sudden happy. It's too big of a jump. That can feel very inauthentic. Now, have you ever been around someone forcing themselves to be happy when it's obvious to everyone that they're not? It feels like any minute they're going to fall apart. But what if you could go from sad to maybe acceptance? Maybe a friend accepts that his brother is gone and can be content in knowing that he spent some good time with him recently. And also the thought that his brother is no longer in pain. So now he's helped himself work through the sadness towards contentment. And from contentment, he can reach for hopefulness. And that hopefulness allows him to then start being able to reach for happiness again. Now, his thoughts will play a big role in how he recovers, and that's true for all of us. Life is a series of emotions, and part of the problem in society right now, again, is I think that we think we should never be sad. We think we're supposed to always be happy. It's not how it is. There are times when, of course, you're going to be sad, like my friend losing his brother. You don't want to be happy about that. You're going to be sad, and that's okay. And there are times when we're going to feel sad, but there are also times when we catastrophize a minor problem and turn it into a big problem with our thoughts. Now, I like that word, catastrophize. I didn't even know it was a word until I heard it on a podcast, and I looked it up. But what we want to watch out for is when we do that, when we're catastrophizing a minor problem and we turn it into a bigger problem with our thoughts. And that is the meaning of catastrophizing. But we also want to watch out for where our thoughts are leading us. They're either making it worse or they're making things better. We're always thinking, aren't we? And the more we're aware of our thoughts and what they're doing to us, the better off we'll be emotionally. So the podcast I was listening to was Jordan Peterson. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast. He was talking about the idea of people that catastrophize a small problem and then with their thoughts turn it into a really big problem. For instance, someone argues with their spouse over a minor issue like forgetting to take out the garbage, which leads them to think all these terrible thoughts like I'm a failure, I never do anything right, I mess everything up, I'm a horrible husband, everyone hates me, and then it turns into I don't deserve to be alive, all because he forgot to take out the garbage. This is something, if we aren't aware of, we can all do. I mean, maybe not to that degree, but his thoughts were not making things better. In fact, they were making them much, much worse. If he had caught himself before he let the momentum of his thoughts get away, he could have said, now hold on, wait a minute. How can I remember next time to take out the garbage so that we don't fight about it again? I know, I'll set an alarm as a reminder that's recurring so it never happens again. Maybe he even shares that thought with his wife, and now she feels good because she realizes he cares, and it could become a bonding moment. Maybe that's a stretch. I don't know. But it's the same situation. It's just his thoughts change the outcome. When you let your thoughts get momentum in a negative direction, it's so hard to feel happy, especially if you do it regularly. My point today in this episode is your happiness lives and dies based on your thoughts. And my challenge to you today is to catch yourself. Catch yourself when you're having a thought that doesn't serve you. And ask this question: is this thought moving me closer to how I want to feel or farther away? I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.